After more than a year of claiming he was innocent for a murder in Knox County, one man pled guilty today in court. We'll have more in just a few minutes.
It's a day much of Kentucky will never forget. 8 years ago today, tornadoes ripped through much of the region, killing dozens of people. I'll have the details on what it's like 8 years later coming up.
More heavy rain moves in overnight. We'll break down the timing and talk about how much rain to expect right now at 6.
Dedicated to Eastern and Southern Kentucky, this is WYMT Mountain News at 6.
Good evening again. Tonight, a man in Knox County is a step closer to spending decades behind bars.
This morning, Philip Lee Lewis pleaded guilty to murder and robbery charges.
Last year, he opened fire on Gary Wayne Medlin inside the A&B Quick Stop. Police used fingerprints left on a drink and door to identify him. Medlin's family told WYMT's Hannah Reynolds it is a day they never thought would come.
The last year, Gary Wayne Medlin's family have spent in agony trying to keep his memory alive.
So this is Gary's birth flower, then you got the heartbeat, then you have the line, because that's when I became the mother of an angel, Gary Wayne Medlin.
Before Monday, if you asked Philip Lee Lewis about his involvement in the robbery of the A&B Quick Stop and Gary's murder,
Well, I don't even know where I'm at. I don't even know nothing about Knoxville, Kentucky. I ain't never been here. So I feel like I'm being framed or something. I've never been here. I don't know nothing about this city.
he even had several different alibis for the night of January 16, 2019, all of which placed himself in Michigan.
I was at home with my baby mama, sleep. I just had a long day of studio section with my cousin and them, whatever, whoop-de-whoop. We was kicking and chilling, rapping and smoking or whatever. I made it home about 11 o'clock. My uncle opened the door for me. Boom.
Every month, every court date, he stuck to that story until Monday, the day before his trial was set to start.
Him admitting guilt eased my heart a lot more than anything I've had the last 13 months.
Now that Lewis pleaded guilty to killing Gary, the family questioned why it took so long. Regardless, they feel
that there's not a day or a minute that goes by that we don't love him and miss him.
Their hearts will never be the same. In Knox County, Hannah Reynolds, WYMT Mountain News.
Philip Lee Lewis will appear back in court for sentencing on April 3rd.
Also in Knox County, a murder trial is set to begin Tuesday, March 10th. Sidney Smith is accused of shooting Michael Souders in April, then leaving his body at a dump site. Smith is scheduled for one last hearing this Friday ahead of the trial. He faces murder, tampering with physical evidence, wanton endangerment, and abuse of a corpse.
A Clay County man charged with killing his uncle pleaded not guilty this morning. Investigators tell us Friday night they found 26-year-old David Taylor covered in blood. They believe he killed Carl Roberts Jr. following an argument. Taylor's preliminary hearing is set for 1 week from today. His bond is $500,000 cash.
A preliminary hearing is scheduled for a Harlan County man charged with murder. Richard Cody was extradited back to Kentucky last week. He is the man police believe killed Matthew Smith in a home last month. Cody also faces wanton endangerment charges, and police in Tennessee arrested him. That preliminary hearing is scheduled for March 9th.
Definitely felt like a Monday out there with all those gloomy conditions and rainy conditions we've seen throughout the day. Getting a nice little break though right now, seeing the heavier bands moving into Charleston. Some scattered chances around our area, but more is expected as we head into tonight. And it's all because of this system out to our west right now over Paducah. You're seeing that warm front and that cold front will nose into our area, bringing in some heavy rain tonight and maybe a few thunderstorms. We keep an eye on those wind gusts. Winds could be gusting anywhere from about 25 to 30 miles per hour tonight as that system moves through. Really be keeping an eye on these wind gusts as we head into your Tuesday and Wednesday, as it looks to be a little bit breezy after the system moves through. But our main concern tonight will definitely be that heavy rain. We'll talk a little bit more about that, break down the timing and how much rain to expect coming up in a little bit.
Thank you, Paige. It is a day Kentuckians will never forget. 8 years ago, tornadoes ravaged the region, destroying everything in their paths. 26 people died in Kentucky from those storms. In what some call a miracle, hard-hit Magoffin County did not have a single death. WYMT's Connor James was there today.
Please get into a safe location.
The storms claimed lives across Kentucky.
And that means it could run smack dab into the city of Salyersville.
The devastation left behind unimaginable.
I just thank God that He brought me through it.
Communities barely recognizable.
We don't have to have memorial services. We don't have to talk about the ones we lost.
Charles Hardin, or Doc, served as Magoffin County's judge executive back then. Now he commits his time to taking care of patients here in Paintsville.
And when you hear the stories about just all kinds of people who came so close to it, you know, it's a hand of God.
8 years ago, his mission much of the same. As the tornado hit, 25 people took cover in his basement. Some friends, some strangers. But right before the storm, notably along Salyersville's Restaurant Row,
no idea.
He alerted people like Robin Johnson.
I've always heard people on TV say that they'll never forget that sound, but you never will.
She was at her aunt's wake as the storm approached. She tried to make it to Doc's basement when she became trapped.
Power lines had fell behind us, so we couldn't turn around and go that way. So we sat there and rode it out.
As debris flew around, winds whirling up to 160 miles per hour, terrified, she sat stuck.
I was worried about my family and my children, because I couldn't get a hold of my daughter at the time. She was on the other end of town, and just making sure everybody was okay.
She was okay. In all, 26 people died across the Bluegrass that day. The building Robin now works in had the second floor ripped apart, but no one here in Magoffin County lost their lives.
I just thank God for being able to be here to talk to you.
In Salyersville alone, the damage was immense, but rebuilding would soon begin.
And on that day, we in Magoffin, we in the region, we in the state, we took care of our own, and I'm so proud of them.
Restaurant Row, once a reminder of the destruction, now bustling once again. In Salyersville, Connor James, WYMT Mountain News.
Now on WYMT.com, we broke down the timeline of the events on March 2nd, 2012. There we give you an hour-by-hour account of where those tornadoes touched down across the mountains and just how much damage they left behind.
And a warning tonight for truckers driving through Middlesboro. Transportation officials urge you not to access downtown US 25 East via Kentucky 74. It is because of scenes like this one last month where a truck could not clear the CSX bridge. Officials tell us it happens at least a few times a year. The clearance there is 13 feet.
As fears of the coronavirus continue to spread across the United States, many are preparing should it come to eastern Kentucky.
Schools are one of those places, and WYMT's Will Puckett is in Leslie County with how they are getting ready should they face a case of their own.
The 2019-2020 school year for Leslie County has brought its fair share of sickness.
You know, we've had to close already this year, you know, for flu and, you know, do a lot of precautionary measures.
Now, with the stir surrounding the coronavirus, they are looking for some direction.
A lot of it's from the Department of Public Health, and they'll decide, you know, they can close schools whenever they want to.
Daniel Day is the director of pupil personnel for Leslie County Schools. And while he knows there is uncertainty about the virus, they are working to get ahead of it.
So it'll really be trying to figure out and just wait for them to tell us more stuff going forward. But like I said, we're really trying to be we're really trying to get ahead of it as much as possible.
Right now, the school system is not treating this outbreak any different than common wintertime illnesses.
It's basically a lot of the same things as you would do with flu. You know, tell your kids, make sure to always use soap, you know, wash your hands. If you're sick, stay home.
But they are taking it as an opportunity to educate kids on how to prevent the spread of something like the coronavirus.
Whether it's something, a 5 or 10 minute thing in class, you know, at the beginning of the day, just to ensure that we're doing the little things that we can do before anything happens.
To help limit those who get sick and keep students in class so they can learn. In Leslie County, Will Puckett, WYMT Mountain News.
The Kentucky Department of Education sent out tips for how to try and prevent possible scares to superintendents across the state.
As the United States continues to closely watch for new cases of the coronavirus, the University of Kentucky is now working to get some of their own students home. University officials say they're working to get students currently studying in Italy back home. Nick Oliver is on campus this evening with what's next for those students. Nick.
Steve, 29 students, that's how many right now are studying in Italy. University of Kentucky says today they're focused on getting them back home. Now, President Capelluto did send out a notice to this morning. This comes after the U.S. Department of State elevated the travel warning to a level 3 for places like Italy and Iran, though no students are in Iran at this time. Now, of course, another focus is spring break coming up. The university is advising for anyone traveling internationally to keep up with what the CDC is pushing out. Students here say they have been watching these developments and understand why the university made the decision they did.
If it's not a place that's like heavily populated with this coronavirus, then bring them home. Like, please don't make them stay there in hopes of, because we don't have that many cases here as yet.
Of course, another big concern is future study abroad trips. The University of Kentucky says there are many trips going out this summer, and that's something they have to now take a very close look at. For now, in Lexington, Nick Oliver, WYMT Mountain News.
Nick, thank you very much. As the coronavirus continues to spread, the main concern here in Kentucky really is still the flu. The latest numbers show nearly 2,000 new cases in the third week of February. 14 people died that week alone, bringing the total number of dead to 80. Several eastern Kentucky counties are still being hit hard, including Pike and Perry counties.
We put our trust in doctors and pharmacists, but sometimes mistakes happen. WKYT's Kristen Kennedy pulled pharmacy complaints made statewide in the last 2 years, and some of those complaints are chilling. In one case, a mother ended up giving her toddler a double dose of antibiotics. She says the pharmacist accidentally doubled the prescription. In another case, a man ended up taking the wrong medication, a sedative. He rode his motorcycle and crashed. Pharmacists say they are expected to do more than ever before, and mistakes, unfortunately, do happen.
10 years ago, you fill prescriptions, you counsel patients, you help them with over-the-counter stuff. That's what we did. Now we do all that, plus we do flu immunizations. We do hepatitis A immunizations. We have to do, a lot of pharmacies do monthly psychiatric injections for patients. On top of that, the insurance world is getting more and more complicated, so our staff is spending more and more time dealing with insurance problems.
The chairman of the Kentucky Pharmacists Association says pharmacy benefit managers are making it hard for pharmacies to have enough staff. Hear what his association wants to see across the industry tonight at 11.
And we are going to start to see more rain move in as we head into tonight. A nice little break for now, but soggy conditions return back to the mountains. I'll tell you how much coming up.
But first, fighting back against opioid addiction.
Health professionals gathered in Pikeville today to look at what progress is being made.